Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only Anime Legends, and yeah guys, today I am back with another series for you guys, which is gonna be what if Naruto was neglected by his family and cultivated immortality. So yeah guys, this is gonna be really OP of a series, so hopefully you guys will like it. And yeah guys, it is just that life has been rather busy lately as I'm a university student, so I have to take classes, assignment and all that, so I really get time to make videos. So hopefully, you guys will be able to forgive me as I will try my best to end this series as well as other series as soon as possible on this channel as well. And yeah, guys, there are other videos in this channel like of manhwa legends and things like that, so you can watch it and hopefully you guys will like it and tell me in the comment section if you guys have some ideas about it. So yeah guys, without wasting any more of your time, let us start the video. So the story begins in a realm different from the shinobi world. Two figures could be seen fighting against each other as a black monster was slammed into the ground with such force that it shattered almost the whole continent into the ground. And this figure was none other than the so-called evil god Jashin as he tried to stand up. You, Naruto Uzumaki, how dare you invade my realm? This is not your shinobi world as a figure that was floating in the mid-air surrounded by a golden power was floating there looking down upon this so-called demon who liked to sacrifice other people to increase his power, to increase his spiritual power. This was our protagonist Naruto Uzumaki at the age of 12 as he was looking down upon this demon. After all, it has been a long time that he wanted to have a challenge and he was able to find this guy who is rather weak compared to him, but he could also be considered as the pinnacle of power in the shinobi world. As Naruto simply smiled at him. Honestly, I do not care much about you, Jashin, but your power, especially your cultivation, I need that to increase my powers even further. As Jashin gritted his teeth, he was a demon, yes, but many people call him a god of suffering. There are many followers of him, which he grants them some demonic power so that they can have some form of immortality, but nothing comparable. And all the people who die by their hands, their spiritual power and their souls are delivered to him, and then he can use it to increase his cultivation even further. He do not care much about the chakra system of the Sage of Six Paths. It was a corrupted system, not belonging to this realm. These Ususkis do not even belong to this reality to begin with. He do not know where they came from, but this kind of energy is not suitable for him to cultivate. Even humans who cultivate it, even neglecting the natural power and the natural energy system of the world, are utter fools. He never thought that there would be someone who would be able to utilize the power of those immortals. He always thought that those people have disappeared, but this guy had challenged him over and over again, and now he had entered into his realm and even defeated him as Jashin stood up. Alright, Naruto Uzumaki, you do not have to go that far, just tell me what you want. As Naruto simply smiled at that, Naruto, from the very young age, he could tell that he was different from other people, especially his siblings, the so-called children of destiny. He do not care much about them, but he was always disgusted by this chakra. He always felt that this power was strange, as if it did not belong here, as if it did not even belong to this realm. It was so much disgusted energy that Naruto did not want to do anything with it. He was always able to absorb the power of the heaven and earth. He was able to use it to cultivate the new kind of power. Many people called it spiritual power in the old text Naruto was able to find, but those were so rare that Naruto just had to muddle through it. It was thanks to his immortal body he was able to cultivate it to this point, but then he found the existence of the other realms, especially those three realms of summoning, but Naruto was unable to go there. But then he was able to find this guy Jashin. There are some cult related to him, especially that guy Hidan. He talked too much, but Naruto was able to get him and was able to arrive through the link here, as not to look down upon him. I know that you have some means to cultivate your power, but I do not believe that that is all there is to it. So hand over your techniques and I will let you go. And do not think about it. Your realm, it has rather good spiritual power, even though it is corrupted, but I will take it for myself. As Jashin grated his stat, do not go too far, Uzumaki Naruto. You do not need this power. You are a descendant of the sage. Why do you even care about the spiritual power of the world? You should be cultivating your chakra. As Naruto simply scoffed at it. Do not try to fool me, you damn monster. I am not like you, and I do not care about the chakra, so hand over. The treasure of this world, I can sense its existence that is inside of you. So hand over that crystal and I will let you go. As Jashin simply laughed, he was once a human, but he was able to get this thing thousands and thousands of years ago, even before the Sage of Six Paths. He was able to arrive to this realm, and thanks to this crystal, he was able to rule over it. He even found some strange text here and started to cultivate the power of the immortals, even though it is a corrupted form, which required the sacrifices of others and suffering of others to increase its power. But this crystal was the core of his strength, the authority of this whole realm, and he will never hand it over. As he laughed, you have done it, Uzumaki, but you will die here. As he started to laugh and let out a roar, his whole body started to surround with dark red energy. As he was laughing like a maniac, suddenly the whole realm started to shake and the spiritual energy of the realm started to enter into the crystal in his chest. As Naruto simply looked down upon him with a bored expression on his face. As Jashin was laughing even further and started to suck the spiritual power of the whole realm, suddenly his hair turned red and his eyes turned pure black. Suddenly he went go a demonic transformation as he looked towards Naruto. Now then, descendant of the sage, die! After saying that, he lunged towards Naruto as Naruto simply looked towards him with a bored expression. Is that all? I honestly thought that you, after thousands of years of existence, you would be able to achieve something, but what a shame. You cannot even utilize the spiritual power of this realm properly, even with that treasure. But too bad. I will take it for myself. After saying that, Naruto simply disappeared from the eyes of Jashin, who was taken aback. Suddenly, Naruto appeared in front of him, already had his hand on the crystal on his chest as Jashin's eyes widened. He did not even saw him moved as Naruto said, "Begone." As after saying that, Naruto simply touched the crystal, which was pure red. Suddenly, it started to change color from red to pure golden as Naruto had already grabbed it from the chest and ripped it out of Jashin as Jashin let out a scream of pure pain and agony. But it was too late. His whole body started to get cracked all over the place. Just like that, Jashin let out a roar and he simply disappeared in the mid-air as his body was unable to sustain all the spiritual energy he had absorbed from the realm. As Naruto simply looked down upon the crystal, this was the authority of this small realm. Well, nothing compared to the shinobi world, but it does have a lot of spiritual power. That Jashin was truly a fool. After all, he has been here for thousands of years, even before the Sage of Six Paths, but he relies upon the suffering of other people to cultivate his power, not even able to harness the power of this realm properly. But Naruto was different from him, as he started to walk towards the castle. After all, he could sense the existence of other treasures there. With this Jashin guy, wasn't able to sense it before. He was truly a fool. After that, Naruto simply disappeared and arrived in a castle as Naruto tried to walk into it, but suddenly several runes appeared all over the place. As Naruto's eyes narrowed, it seemed that Jashin knew about this place, but it was surrounded by a strange energy, especially this kind of energy always repelled the demonic energy of Jashin. As not to smirk at that, it seemed that this realm has even ancient existence than that so-called fool Jashin. But Naruto simply smiled at that as he started to channel his spiritual energy into the crystal and put it in the center of the runes. As Naruto could recognize some of them, but not much. After all, the inheritance he had gotten from those ancient caves he had found was rather incomplete, but that was enough for him to realize some things as the crystal started to shine, and just like that, the whole ruins disappeared. As Naruto simply smirked at that after entering into the realm, as if he had transported into a strange place. As Naruto looked around, the spiritual energy in this place is even purer than the whole realm. And finally, his eyes lies upon another crystal that was shining even brighter as Naruto simply walked towards it and touched it. And just like that, knowledge of thousands, if not millions of years ago, of the realms which were once together but simply separated after a great war between several immortals who wanted to achieve some opportunity, but it separated the realms, making some small realms like that of the shinobi world and other surrounded realms. As Naruto finally realized the history of the world, he had found some other ancient realms as well, which were abandoned, and there was also some historical information there. That was where he had understand how to cultivate the power of the worlds. But it seemed that his knowledge was so shallow. This world, this realm of Joshin had a lot of knowledge here, especially the crystal that could cultivate his powers even further. As Naruto simply smirked at that, it seemed that it was time for him to return to his home village, Konoha. While, on the other hand, let us get back to Konoha. Minato, Namikaze, and Kushina Uzumaki were watching their favorite children, Menma and Mito, who were training hard at the moment. As Kushina smiled, Minato, both of them had truly grown up. They are even at the level of special Jonin at the age of 12. They're truly prodigies, as Minato smiled at that. Well, I have to admit that, Kushina, both of them had truly improved over the years. As Kushina nodded at that, tomorrow is the graduation exam. Have you already prepared their team? As Minato nodded at that, yes, I have already have some ideas on my mind. As Kushina frowned a little, do not tell me, Minato, you want to put them with Naruto. As Minato sighed inwardly, after all, that was his oldest son, but Minato simply shook his head. Kushina, Naruto do not have the same talent as Menma and Mito. Honestly, I have seen his performance and I must admit that he's not bad, but he's not good as well. He's just so middle class. As Kushina sighed, where did they go wrong with that kid? But she simply shook her head. That is not the time, Minato. That is not the time, Minato. We have to train Menma and Mito to fulfill their destinies. After all, the great old sage has already spoken about the world, and Menma and Mito are definitely the children of destiny. As Kushina smiled at that thought, after all, so many people had died over the years in several wars, and if they now they finally have the opportunity to save the world, and her children are the one who will decide the destiny of this world. So she must protect them and train them hard. As for Naruto, it is not like he's getting hungry or anything like that. He's just so mediocre. So he will be managed by Minato. After all, he's the son of Hokage. Even if he did not have any talent, they will definitely take care of him and give him some goofy position to live his life. And when Menma and Mito, either one of them were to become Hokage, they will definitely take care of their brother. As after that, Kushina simply ignored Naruto, while on the other hand, Menma and Mito had finally completed their training and finally arrived in front of Minato, who smiled at them and gave them some compliments. Alright, Menma, Mito, tomorrow is the graduation exam and all the clan heads would be watching from the Hokage office, so you must show your merit and do not disappoint me. At that, both of them smiled and nodded and finally decided to go and celebrate a little. After all, it's not like they are gonna fail the graduation exam after not even realizing that a member of their family was not here. And on the other hand, Naruto has finally arrived outside of the Jashin realm. He has already purified the whole realm and taken the treasures of the realm. He thought that it was just a single realm and the crystal on the chest of Jashin was the authority of that realm. But after going there, he saw that it was just a entry point to other realms as well. That was truly a great opportunity for Naruto as Naruto looked towards his hand. The immediate realms, huh? Well, do not worry. I will definitely take them for my own self. As Naruto smiled at that. Well, it cannot be called a kind smile and not evil smile. He was just wanting to become stronger. Honestly, he do not care much about this chakra. This whole system was corrupted and he did not care about it. He was not a shinobi, he was a cultivator and he required the energy of this world to cultivate his powers even further. As Naruto closes his eyes and started to absorb the natural power of the whole world. As Naruto sighed, if he were to sacrifice everyone in the shinobi world, he would directly ascend to the realm of Great Emperor. That would truly be something. But Naruto simply shook his head. He did not want to go that path after all. If he were to do something like this, especially from the rituals he has found in the realm of Jashin, those rituals are simply too evil and demonic, and Naruto had already taken his path from that was not the demonic path, but rather so-called righteous path. As Naruto simply shook his head. That was a bit late for him to go on that path. As Naruto started to fly and disappeared into the mid-air, finally arriving in Konoha. And finally decided to take part in this shinobi game. After all, he has some plans for the three sacred realms of the shinobi world. Those are toads, snakes, and slugs. As Naruto smirked at that, sooner or later he will take all the power and the spiritual power of these realms for himself. As Naruto smirked at that, after all, it was time for him to increase his powers even further. Finally, the next day has arrived. As Ruka looked towards all of his children and students as he smiled at them. He was really happy. This class was the best class of his career that would make his whole career after all. This was the class where all the clan had children, especially the children of Hokage, Menma and Mito, the prince and princesses of Konoha were here, as well as the Uchiha heir Sasuke Uchiha and his sister Kiyomi Uchiha were present here, as well as the other clan children's as he simply coughed a little. Alright, class, get ready. Today is your graduation exam, and I hope that you will give your all. After all, today will decide what will happen to you in your future. So get ready. As Iruka looked at them and simply decided to distribute his papers as finally, it was time for Naruto's graduation exam. As Naruto simply looked towards the paper and simply scoffed and completed it within a second. After all, he could read the minds of everyone, even the minds of these Jinchurikis, without they even knowing it. After all, Naruto was not a shinobi. He do not rely on chakra. His spiritual power is more than enough to destroy anyone with a mere thought, and reading the minds of others to complete his own things was rather easy for him. Finally, it was time for the shinobi techniques. As Iruka said, alright, Uzumaki Naruto, as Menma had just completed his graduation technique as he looked towards his so-called older brother as a complicated look arrived on his face. Honestly, he did not have a very good relationship with Naruto. Naruto was just so different. He was always so aloof, as if he was beyond this world, even though his parents has already told him that Naruto was nothing special and was not comparable to him. But Menma was always wanted to teach him a lesson, but he was always so aloof, as if looking down upon the world and looking down upon him. That angered him too much. But he was unable to do anything about it. After all, they did not had many intersection with each other. As Menma simply scoffed at Naruto, simply took his headband and walk away. While on the other hand, Naruto looked towards Iruka as Iruka simply coughed. He cannot say much thing about this son of the Hokage. After all, this kid was always so different. He did not have any friends, nor did he talk with anyone. But he was always so aloof, as if he had the aura of nobility around him. No one wanted to mess with him. As Iruka simply coughed, alright Naruto, you have to perform this technique, the clone technique, the substitution and transformation technique. As Naruto simply nodded at that as he moved at hyper speed, and just like that, there were several clones around him. And using his spiritual power, he was able to change his appearance. It was simply too easy. After all, his transformation is different from other people. The shinobi transformation is just a mere illusion, while on the other hand, Naruto can even change his bone structure to look whatever he wants to be. And the substitution, it was simply too easy. With his mere speed, it was simply far too easy for him. He do not rely on chakra, nor did he want to do anything with this disgusting energy For whatever reason, Naruto was always disgusted by this shinobi chakra. After all, it relies on the sacrifice of the spiritual power to create this chakra, which was a lot weaker than the spiritual power to begin with. Honestly, Naruto do not even understand what is the meaning of even the existence of chakra. But Naruto shook his head. Grabbing his headband, he simply walked away as Ruka simply nodded. After all, this was still the son of the Hokage, may not be favored as Menma in Mito, but still, he must have specialized training. Even if it was not directly from the Hokage, maybe some other Jonin would have definitely trained him as a tutor appointed by the Hokage. As Ruka simply nodded, and finally, the graduation exam was over, while on the other hand, Minato looked towards the crystal ball. He had seen Naruto's, you can say, techniques. Well, at least the kid did not disappoint him. He simply thought to his mind and nodded at that. The kid had decent talent. Well, not as much as Menma and Mito, but still decent enough to be some to reach Jonin level. That would truly be good. For Menma and Mito, after all, if Menma and Mito, one of them wants to become Hokage, then their family members have to be shinobi as well. And they must be at least strong enough to protect themselves, otherwise, they would only become liabilities, as Minato thought in his mind. And simply nodded at that, while on the other hand, the clan heads were present there. They were also happy that their children were able to pass, but this was not the time, as Yashihyuga spoke up. Well, Lord Hokage, it seemed that this batch was able to pass pretty easily, but we are not here to see this exam. After all, those techniques are rather easy. We are here to decide the team arrangement for our children. After all, this class is rather special. Most of them are the clan heirs. As all of them who were present there simply nodded and started to give their recommendations. After all, there are several traditions of teams like Inoshukacho and the alliance between Hyuga, Aburame, and Inuzuka clan. So they have to, you can say, support their heirs to be together. As Minato simply nodded at that, he have to give this face to this clan heads and started to appoint team members, while on the other hand, Naruto had already grabbed his headband and simply put it on his arm and started to simply walk away. As Menma was also surprised that Naruto was able to pass, but he did not thought much of it. After all, these are just D-rank techniques. To pass, it was simply too easy, but he knew that the next exam would be the real exam. Finally, as Minato has given the okay for the next team, as Minato said, well, I have an announcement to make. But before Minato could say anything, a person has already arrived in the Hokage office. This guy was none other than Jiraiya of the Sanin. As he gave a thumbs up, well, Minato, congratulations, I have heard Menma and Mito were able to pass and become shinobi. As Minato gave a smile to his master, well, sensei, we were just gonna discuss the team arrangement for Menma and Mito. He was going to appoint his student Kakashi as his master, but Jiraiya spoke up. Well, Minato, I'm mainly here for that. The great old toad sage has just given me the green signal. He had told me to train Menma and Mito even further. Further, the destiny of the world depends upon it. So, I'm here to become their master and their sensei. Just give me both of them and I will make them even stronger. This surprises Minato even further, but he thought it for some time and nodded at that. As other clan heads looked towards each other, honestly, they were not that happy about it. After all, Jiraiya was a Sanin, and it was rather unfair for their own children. The people who were rather happy that they were able to secure elite Jonins like Asuma were now not looking so good, but they have to give this face to the Hokage and his children. After all, both of them are prodigies, and anyone can tell that one of them would definitely become the next Hokage of Konoha, so they cannot antagonize him. They had already told their children to cozy up to these Menma and Mito so that in the future it would be easy for their clans to remain in Konoha. As Minato nodded at that and directly gave the green signal, but Sensei, we cannot have. You have to have at least three members in a team. So you cannot just have Menma and Mito. As Jiraiya thought it for some time. Well, I have heard that there is an Uchiha Sasuke, who is a rival to Menma, and even Mito had a small crush on him. So why not put him in the same team? This surprises everyone as Fugaku, who was just listening, smirk at that. He was really happy about it. After all, that was his youngest son, and if that Mito girl were truly to be with Sasuke, then it would truly be beneficial for him and the Uchiha clan behind him. He was truly happy now. As Minato thought it for some time, Sasuke had talent second only to Menma and Mito, and that was truly impressive. And he had a good relationship with Fugaku and the Uchiha clan, who supports him even further to counterbalance the forces led by the third Hokage. After all, Konoha is not as peaceful as people might think. After all, Minato had taken charge of Konoha, and third Hokage did not want to give away his authority, so Minato had to prepare his own forces to take away the power of Hokage that was in the hands of third Hokage. So he had joined forces with the Uchiha clan and the favors to other clans like the Hyuga clan, who were suppressed by the third Hokage to counterbalance the forces led by the third, and therefore he had regained the authority of the Hokage, even though many people might think that the fourth and third Hokage had good relationship, but honestly, it was total mess. After all, this was a political struggle between the previous Hokage and the ideology of previous generation and the current Hokage and the ideology of the youngest generation. But Minato simply shook his head at that, but nodded nonetheless. Alright, the last team would be consist of Yakumo, Kurama, and Kiyomi Uchiha. As Minato simply nodded at that, and finally a name came to his mind. And my older son, Uzumaki Naruto. Many people looked towards Minato with a bit of surprise, but people did not object. After all, Naruto did pass, and he was also rather talented. Well, compared to his other siblings, he is nothing. But he still had good talent. After all, as the son of the Hokage, and another S-rank Konoichi who was a previous Jinchuriki, his talent cannot be bad. So, Discipline nodded at that and did not thought much of it. Even Fugaku did not care much where his daughter would go. After all, his older son was already a captain in Ambu, and now his youngest son was the apprentice of Isanin, as well as had good relationship with the son of Hokage, possibly the next Hokage, as well as the daughter of current Hokage. So Fugaku was really happy as Hyuga Hiyashi was giving him death glares, but he simply ignored them, and he was really pleased with himself. Finally, the meeting ended, while on the other hand, Naruto was concentrating on the top of the Hokage head, as many people simply ignored him. After all, the spiritual power is something different. As Naruto simply smirked at that, he could sense Konoha. Honestly, he was always so. Honestly, he never thought much of Konoha to begin with. After all, as an immortal being who now has a life expense and he can live for at least 5,000 years. So, he do not take much of these civilizations and even blood relationship like his parent and siblings, but he is still their son, so he will take care of them in their old age. But that is all there is to it. After all, as an immortal being, he do not like to think from the perspective of mortals. As Naruto simply sighed, he still remembered the day when he truly entered into the path of cultivation. He could always absorb the power of heaven and earth, and he was always able to create his own spiritual power. But he still remembered the day when he entered into that forest of death. Who knew he could see the existence of a barrier there as if something was calling upon him? The moment he arrived there, he somehow got teleported into a hidden realm. But it seemed that this realm was far abandoned. The ruins that were there to protect something was also shattered. Only a small crystal was present there. The moment Naruto had touched that crystal, the knowledge of cultivation, the knowledge of immortals, the knowledge of the world finally came to his mind, as well as some treasures which barely had some spiritual energy left. Naruto had taken it out and absorbed it for himself. From there, his path of cultivation began. And now he has gotten this powerful. Naruto was sure that there was not a single person in the whole of Shinobi world who was matched for him. That has been for a long, long time, as Naruto thought to himself. Finally, time skip. As Iruka looked towards all the children that were present here as he said, alright, today I'm gonna announce your team arrangement. So hopefully you guys are ready. As everyone was present there, as Naruto had already arrived in the room. After all, he still had to take part in this whole thing. After all, as an immortal being, he liked to experience life as well. After all, it is not like he had to become a true immortal within years. No, he had a life expectancy of around 5,000 years, and as long as he became even stronger, it would not be impossible for him to live for eternity. So, he do not care about it. Finally, Iruka spoke up. So, finally, Team 7 is gonna be Menma, Mito, and Uchiha Sasuke, and your team leader is gonna be Jiraiya of the Sanin. As everyone was surprised, after all, Jiraiya was a legendary figure, and to become his student, even Sasuke, who was brooding for being defeated by Menma in their latest spar, had a smirk on his face. After all, his father had already told him about this, but listening to it firsthand really gave him a surprise and excitement at the same time, while on the other hand, Mito simply smirked at that, and even Menma had a smile on his face. After all, Sasuke was his rival, and Mito was happy. After all, she did have a crush on Sasuke as well, while on the other hand, Iruka finally arrived. Alright, team. The final team, Team 13, is gonna be Kiyomi Uchiha, Yakumo Kurama, and Uzumaki Naruto, as many people look towards Naruto with some jealousy in their eyes. After all, Yakumo and both Kiyomi were beautiful girls, and for both of them to have a single male member, this angered many people, but they did not say much about it. After all, this was decided by the Hokage, and they cannot say anything. After all, now they have become shinobi, no longer children, and they had some ideas of their own. As Yakumo looked towards Kiyomi, as Kiyomi looked towards Yakumo, both of them were Genjutsu users and rivals at the same time, but both of them were surprised. After all, Uzumaki Naruto was rather a reclusive person. He did not like to talk with other people, and there was always an aura around him that was telling people to stay away, and they never had talked with each other, but they decided to go with it. After all, that was still the son of Hokage, and even if he was not as talented as Menma and Mito, he was still powerful enough to be considered a worthy teammate. At least they did not got some civilian as a teammate. Finally, the senseis finally started to arrive, and it was finally time for Kakashi, as Kakashi had already arrived as he looked towards Kiyomi, and finally looked towards Yakumo, and then towards the older son of his sensei. He had a rather complicated emotions towards Naruto. After all, Menma and Mito were like his own siblings, but Naruto, he was always so different, always so distant at the same time. But he simply shook his head. Well, now that he was his disciple, well, Kakashi was not exactly that happy. After all, his sensei had promised that Menma and Mito would be under him, but Jiraiya came out of nowhere and took them. So he had to go with this. After all, this team was also not bad. He was also a Genjutsu user, so he can teach some things to Yakumo and Kiyomi. But for Naruto, he simply sighed. Well, at least the kid had some talent according to his sensei, so it would not be that bad, he thought to his mind as he said, alright, Team 13, come with me. After saying that, he disappeared as all three members of Team 13 also disappeared and finally arrived at training ground 13 as Kakashi looked towards them. Well, why don't you introduce yourselves? As Yakumo spoke up, well, my name is Yakuma Kurama and I am the heir to the Kurama clan, and my dream is to make Kurama clan great again and show to everyone that we are the greatest Genjutsu user in the whole of Konoha. As Kiyomi scoffed at that, as Yakumo glared towards her. Do you have anything to say, Kiyomi? As Kiyomi simply ignored her, as both of them were now glaring towards each other. As Kakashi laughed nervously. Alright, why don't you go next, Kiyomi? As Kiyomi simply scoffed but nodded nonetheless. Well, my name is Kiyomi Uchiha. I am the daughter of the clan head of the Uchiha clan. My dream is to prove to everyone that I am also a great shinobi like my older brother, Itachi Uchiha, and to show some people that I am the greatest in the Genjutsu in the future. The era and become the mistress of Genjutsu as she smiled at that. As Kakashi simply nodded at that, where did you go next, Naruto? As Naruto simply looked towards Yakumo and Kurama, he could not believe his eyes. After all, he never thought that within Konoha he would be able to find two pure Jin bodies. Both Kiyomi and Yakumo were the true Jin bodies, naturally born Jin bodies, as Naruto had a greedy look in his eyes. After all, the path of cultivation, even through the righteous path, cannot exactly be called a good way to become stronger. There are many sacrifices that had to be made in the way of cultivation, and that is not exactly talking about sacrificing things as Naruto simply calmed himself down. After all, he now has some ideas of his own. He had to go through some manuals to find good way to use this new resource that came out of nowhere. As Naruto thought to his mind, after all, he do not care about much about romance and things like that. He never knew why those ancient texts talk about some children of destiny who always were surrounded by many beautiful girls. What is the meaning of that to begin with? As an immortal being, no matter how beautiful a woman is, after living thousands of years, the feelings always fade, as not the thought to his mind, but simply did not give it much thought. Honestly, he do not have much romantic interest towards these girls, but they have other uses for Naruto, especially their pure Jin bodies. Those are truly gonna be good for his cultivation, as Naruto thought to his mind, but nodded to speak. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, and my future way. Well, let's just say that I wish to obtain true immortality. As Kakashi's eyes narrowed at that, the last person who had spoken of the immortality was Orochimaru, but he simply shook his head. He had to report it to his sensei. Hopefully, things would not be as bad as he had thought. As he said, alright, that is enough. So, you guys have not yet become shinobi. Today is you gonna be your true graduation exam. As Kakashi brought out two bells. Alright, you are gonna have bell test. Only two of you people who are able to get this bell from me are actually gonna become shinobi. The rest of you will be going back to the academy. As Kakashi showed two of the bells, as he said, alright, so where did you guys begin? After saying that, Kakashi gave a smile to all of them as both Yakumo and Kyumi were a bit surprised, but they have heard some things from their parents respectively, so they looked towards each other and disappeared from the place. As Naruto looked towards Kakashi with the amused expression on his face. After all, with his spiritual power, he has already read the mind of Kakashi about everything about this guy, a pitiful being, but that is the reality of this world, a so-called shinobi, and even the reality of the immortal world. As Naruto simply scoffed inwardly, but he's gonna have a bit of fun. He wanted to see what this guy was truly made up of. As Naruto stepped forward and looked directly into the eyes of Kakashi. You know, Kakashi, I have heard many things about your rather pathetic existence. As Kakashi's eyes narrowed at that, as Naruto simply shook his head. I must say that if there is ever gonna be a innate misfortune body, then that would definitely be you. After all, become a Jonin, become a Chunin father dad, become a Jonin teammate dad, and become a squad leader. The last team member also died. Become a Ambo, almost lost his sensei and his wife. You are truly misfortunate, as Kakashi, who was looking towards Naruto in utter shock, could not believe his ear. After all, he had just laid down all of his wounds from the past. As Kakashi eyes suddenly turned red, and that was not because of the Sharingan. As he looked towards Naruto and disappeared from place with pure speed. As Naruto was amused, this guy really think that he is fast, but in Naruto's eyes, he was truly weak and rather slow at the same time. But Naruto could feel the essence of time and space from the eyes of Naruto. Even though Naruto do not think much of chakra, but this special kind of space-time energy, Naruto was rather interested in it. So Naruto also disappeared and appeared in front of Kakashi as Kakashi was about to punch Naruto, but he was also shocked when Naruto moved with such incredible speed as he tried to, you can say, dodge, but Naruto was already upon Kakashi with a slap, sending Kakashi flying as Naruto was already in front of Kakashi once again and touched the eyes of Sharingan as Kakashi could not believe his eyes. what is going on here? As Naruto was already upon his eyes, as Naruto's eyes made contact with the Sharingan eyes, as Naruto's eyes glowed golden a little bit, and just like that, the Mangekyo power of Kakashi's eyes started to drain even far faster, while on the other hand, far away in the Rain country, Obito Uchiha let out a scream of pure pain and agony as he tried to, you can say, grab the side of his eye. Something is wrong. Something is truly wrong. He could feel his connection with Kamui dimension as if the whole Kamui dimension is crumbling as Naruto had already made contact with this Kamui dimension and he has already arrived in this world. This surprises Naruto. Honestly, he just wanted to absorb the space-time energy in the eyes of Kakashi to increase his affinity towards the space-time power, but this surprises him really. He never thought that this eye would be connected to another realm. As Naruto looked around, honestly, this realm was also quite ancient but rather separated at the same time. Naruto could feel the existence of barriers here. It seemed that this realm was also divided, but Naruto could feel the existence of other treasures that are present here, mainly the spiritual veins. As Naruto's eyes widened, he never thought that he would be able to find spiritual veins present in such a separated realm. He never thought that such a realm would be present in the eyes of Kakashi. After all, Kamui dimension was not made by Uchiha Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan. The Kamui dimension always existed. The Mangekyo Sharingan just connected with this dimension like that crystal of Jashin which gave them the authority of the world. But the Sharingan was not used as authority. It was just a means to connecting both of the worlds for their own purposes, while on the other hand, Obito was rather confused. Something was off. He could feel the connection between himself and Kamui Dimension. It has disappeared. But how? How is this even possible? It is literally not possible. After all, that was his trump card. That was the way from which he has become this strong enough to challenge even the fourth Hokage, even though he got defeated by the arrival of Jiraiya and third Hokage as well as Tsunade, who came out of nowhere. Otherwise, he would have definitely killed the fourth Hokage. But now, his Kami dimension was gone. How is this even possible? As he quickly went to the Black Zetsu to ask him what is going on here. While on the other hand, Naruto has already arrived the location. The the spiritual vein, was present here as Naruto grabbed his hand as energy started to gather in his hand as Naruto slammed his fist into the ground. And just like that, the barrier that was present here shattered into thousand pieces and pure golden energy started to appear in the whole realm as Naruto burst into laughter. He never thought that such a small thing would bring him such huge surprises as well as such a huge treasure to himself. Spiritual vein were truly rare, truly. In the whole shinobi world, Naruto could only feel the existence of only one. And that is barely a damaged spiritual vein that is present somewhere in the sand country, like some small country in the wind country. He do not even remember the name of that. They call it the dragon vein or something, but it did not have a lot of spiritual power. After all, the world was corrupted by the existence of chakra, and the spiritual energy has already started to transform into some strange kind of chakra, and Naruto did not like it, so he never bothered to remain there for long. After all, that kind of weak spiritual energy, which has already undergone a transformation into that strange chakra, did not like it to begin with, so he did not remain there for long, and he was unable to find an other spiritual vein in the whole world. But now he was able to find it in the Kamui dimension as Naruto was laughing and absorbing the power of spiritual vein at the same time. His cultivation speed has increased at least 10 times, and that was truly something as Naruto started to absorb the power of nature here, while on the other hand, a clone was present outside, as it has already sensed the instruction from the main body, as Kakashi, whose eyes has turned into three Tomo, was bleeding from his eyes as he looked towards Naruto in utter shock. He do not even know what happened. He just felt something was off, as if he has lost something, but he cannot just put his fingers on it. While on the other hand, Kakashi quickly came to his attention. He realized that Naruto must be pushing his buttons. He must have known about his history and trying to get his attention. Suddenly, he felt that he was getting sleepy as he quickly came to attention and made a sign and released Genjutsu as Kiyomi, who was trying to put Kakashi in Genjutsu, grated her teeth. Her two-tomo Sharingan was spinning in her eyes as she looked towards Yakumo as both of them nodded as Yakumo once again put a Genjutsu and Yakumo strengthened it even further. But Kakashi was an elite Jonin bordering on the cage level, so he was able to break Genjutsu once again and appeared in front of Kiyomi with his own Genjutsu using his Sharingan. He quickly knocked her out, while on the other hand, as she quickly sharp Giacomo as well on the neck. After all, her physical constitution was not that good. It was only because of many seals created by his sensei and treatment from the Sanin Tsunade that she was able to become a shinobi. Otherwise, because of her pure yin chakra, she would have been unable to become a shinobi because of her lack of physical strength. But still, she was rather weak, so he was able to knock her out as Kakashi finally appeared in front of Naruto. Alright, Naruto, I know that you were just simply pushing my buttons, but do not mention those things to me again. As Naruto gave Kakashi a smile, but did not say anything. But Kakashi said, but I will definitely teach you a lesson. After all, I am your sensei. With that, Kakashi disappeared and appeared in front of Naruto, trying to punch him, but Naruto simply moved his hand, grabbing the arm of Kakashi. As Kakashi was surprised, after all, this time he did not hold back. That was his pure speed, full speed to begin with. But Naruto simply grabbed it casually. It seemed that his sensei's son must be hiding some things, as Kakashi thought in his mind. But suddenly he was thrown away with such speed and force that Kakashi was unable to grab himself, as Naruto was already in front of him. As Naruto made a single finger towards Kakashi as a beam of pure golden energy slammed into the chest of Kakashi, sending him flying through several trees and knocking him out. As Naruto simply scoffed at that, he was just a clone, but still, the difference between a shinobi and a cultivator was simply too great, as Naruto simply walked towards Kakashi, grabbed the bells, and simply you can say walked towards Kiyomi and Yakumo as both of them were unconscious as Naruto smirked towards them. After all, these were pure yin bodies and Naruto truly had great plans for both of them as he started to laugh outside. At the same time, the true Naruto was laughing in the Kamui dimension, and this clone Naruto was laughing outside, thinking of using the pure Jin bodies to increase his cultivation, while on the other hand, Obito Uchiha has explained the situation to Black Zetsu, as Zetsu was confused. What is going on here? How did the connection between the Mangekyo Sharingan and Kamui dimension disappear? How is this even possible? As you can say, Black Zetsu thought for some time there must be something wrong with the Kamui dimension. He has never went there after all. He was still the will of Kaguya. So he can never go in such dimensions. After all, it could always be dangerous for him. But he looked towards Obito. After all, this Mangekyo ability was truly good, and he cannot let Obito lose this ability as he thought for some time. Well, Obito, your Mangekyo Sharingan has a specific ability. You did not create the Kamui dimension. Your Mangekyo only granted you access to that dimension, and that was even limited dimension control. So all you have to do is wait, and your Mangekyo Sharingan will get another connection to another dimension in time. So do not worry about it. As Obito thought for some time, but nodded nonetheless. After all, he was trained by Madara and he had some understanding of the Mangekyo Sharingan. After all, he already knew that that dimension was not created by him. He always felt that something was off about that dimension, as if it always rejected him whenever he used that power. But still, he was able to enter it, so that is a good thing. While on the other hand, Naruto has absorbed a lot of the spiritual power of the Win, as he was really happy and finally arrived outside. He has already taken control of this dimension. Now he had at least 5 dimensions under his control. As he looked towards the unconscious form of Kakashi, as a thoughtful look arrived to his face, but then a greedy look finally flashed through his eyes. That Mangekyo Sharingan. It seemed that that is a real treasure world. After all, he could sense that Mangekyo was already trying to make connection with some other dimensions. As Naruto was really happy about it, as he started to laugh. Well, that is really a good thing for him. But hey guys, I will left this part here, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. For the next part, the like goal is gonna be 120 likes and 50 comments, so do that, and I will try to upload the next part as soon as possible. So yeah guys, see you soon. Peace.